Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are addressing Hyperfine Inc., a stock that we've covered in this channel a while ago. We do have videos already out there, but I do think that it deserves addressing because the stock actually has been going up. I do want to address why it's going up and what I'm doing in my portfolio personally. So if that's something you're interested in, let's dive right in. Some of the reasons why Hyperfine is actually going up now is due to people realizing of all the previous news that they've announced. For example, Hyperfine expands global market reach with new distribution partnerships in Europe and Middle Eastern markets. And they've announced some clinical studies and they've had some leadership changes to expand their commercial market. And there's so many other news as well. So if you keep reading here, and I've covered some of these on the channel. So Hyperfine Swoop portable MR brain imaging system meets new standards recently issued by the CMS approved accrediting body. Hyperfine announces 10 abstracts at RSNA highlighting the expanding utility and potential of portable MR brain imaging in diverse clinical and research settings. Hyperfine announces European launch with CE approval. Hyperfine announces Alzheimer's research with promising Swoop system data and advanced imaging quality. Utilized in multi-center safe MRI ECMO study published in September 29th issued of Circulation. Promising interim finding on the value of portable ultra-low field MRI imaging for acute stroke care. So many things that's been causing it. Some of the latest ones include this expansion into new markets, includes Turkey and Israel and Saudi Arabia. And if you continue reading the same article, it mentions that this new distribution agreements in Turkey, Israel, and Saudi Arabia as to agreements established earlier in 2024 targeting future expansion across 13 European markets, India, Malaysia, and Indonesia, broadening the reach of Hyperfine to encompass North America, Europe, Asia, Oceania, and Middle East. In October 24, Hyperfine was granted CE approval in Europe for its latest 9th generation AI-powered software. This most recent software approval, combined with the extensive distribution network, positions Hyperfine for significant growth in 2025 and beyond. So overall, great news. The other ones here. So this is the article about Hyperfine announces strategic leadership additions to drive growth in key business verticals. And that new person is Chi Wen, which will lead the company's office strategy, drawing on her extensive experience developing markets for disruptive technologies. The new MRI standards issued by the Intersocietal Accreditation Commission, or IAC, in November 24, which we covered in this channel, opened the door for accredited neurology offices to secure CMS reimbursements for MRI scans using the Swoop system. This milestone positions Hyperfine to extend into new sites for care, including neurology offices representing nearly 2,400 potential locations in the US alone. By bringing advanced MR brain imaging directly to these professional healthcare settings, Hyperfine will significantly enhance patient access and convenience by enabling MR brain imaging during routine clinic visits. Overall, great news. The other ones, Hyperfine announces extensive clinical study coverage at RSNA 2024, showcasing the body of evidence supporting the use of the Swoop system across different sites of care. There's a reason why the stock is going up. They're making huge moves, and I am still very bullish on this. The stock has the product called the Swoop portable MR imaging system. It is FDA cleared, AI powered, and it is portable. The Swoop system overcomes conventional MRI accessibility issues, bringing brain imaging within reach for clinicians to help them make clinical decisions in a variety of healthcare settings. The Swoop is the only FDA cleared portable MR brain imaging system that combines safe, ultra low field magnetic resonance with proprietary artificial intelligence. The Swoop system potentially enables timelier treatment decisions, quicker discharges, and more efficient use of staff and hospital resources while minimizing intra-hospital transport related adverse events. And those are very important to point out because everything on their website is true. Like, I do work in a critical care where I do transport a critical patient from the 7th floor down to the MRI, which is on the 1st floor. So that means you have to go on the elevator, you have to package up that patient with their medical equipment, their IV pumps, their ventilators, and everything has to be compatible with the MRI because of the magnets that could pull everything towards it. So you have to be very careful. You have to do a thorough analysis of the patient themselves. So having a machine that you can push to the bedside completely minimizes a lot of the risks that go with transporting a patient. And on their website as well, they have 2 to 6 hospital and ICU staff required to transfer a patient to the MRI. 1 to 3 ICU patients will experience an adverse event during intra-hospital transport. $6,255,000 average hospital-borne cost of an adverse event. And they do highlight this bullet point here. Each patient transport for imaging complicates the ICU workload, creating time-intensive patient care interruptions that require specialized nurses to remove and reattach life-sustaining equipment. And that is very true because sometimes you have to adjust their lines. So if they are on a vasopressor, which is a medication that actually helps their blood pressure stay up, sometimes you will have to reattach it really fast to attach it to another line because it's at a very convenient location, because you have to imagine you have to push a bed. They have pumps, so a nurse or a medic or a LPN has to push that other pole, and then respiratory therapy has to come with you to hold the ventilator or attach it to the bed, and then you have to attach the oxygen tank. Or sometimes the beds are actually good. Sometimes you can attach it on the bed itself, but not all the beds are not working that well. So you have to think about all those aspects, and you need to get security to come help you out so they can hold the elevators. That's if security is available. Sometimes security is also very busy, so you have to coordinate this. And that's assuming that MRI is also available at that time. And sometimes they give you this quick range. So sometimes they'll call you, hey, this is MRI. In 30 minutes, bring down the patient. So that means you have to drop everything you're doing. Let's say you don't even have another patient, or if you do have another patient, you have to leave another provider or another nurse to take care of that patient while you're gone. So that's why it's important to have a good charge nurse as well. So you have to tell them, I'm getting this patient ready. Please watch my other patient. So they will do that for you. And if you keep scrolling here, waiting for neuroimaging potentially causes delays in treatments and transfer to appropriate care units. So let's say a provider orders an MRI. Is the patient stable enough to transfer? If it's no, patient is unstable, so you will not get any imaging. So if it's a yes, is the MRI available? A lot of times it's a no, because the demand for MRIs is actually a lot. So you sometimes have to wait, even in very critical situations. You will call and they'll just put you on hold sometimes because like, oh, we're doing a study right now. And some studies take a long time to actually perform, especially if you do an entire scan of the body. Those take hours to perform. So once a patient starts, you have to wait until they're done. So let's say an emergency happens, then you have to wait. That's why it's important to have multiple MRIs as well within a facility, and just so many things to consider. So then you have to prepare the patient, and that part can actually be delayed, as mentioned earlier. Then you would have to transfer intra-hospital transfer to the MRI, which can also cause a bunch of delays. Then you perform the exam, and then the intra-hospital transfer to the ICU, which can also be delayed because imagine pushing that patient to the hallway, then you have to switch them to the MRI bed, and you have to transfer all the tubing into their machines that are MRI compatible. Taking this little chart here, this is what Hyperfine will do. So point of care MRI simplifies the neuroimaging workflow. So a provider orders an MRI, the patient preparation, so just making sure that they're stable enough you might have to lift them on the bed a little bit. Otherwise, for the most part, the tubing that's already attached to them is long enough. The ventilator can be adjusted as needed. And imagine just pushing this little machine to the bedside, put the brain in there, scan it, and that's pretty much it. It's a very simple procedure. So it minimizes this workflow from this little part right here all from this right here. That's why I'm very bullish on Hyperfine. I've been investing in it for a while now, and I actually did end up selling Senseonics Holding with the stock symbol SENS, and I ended up buying more shares of Hyperfine. And luckily, I got in at a very good time because the stock actually started going up at that time. So it's up about 60% in my portfolio right now. Conventional MRI takes as long as 11.7 hours because you wait in the ICU, you have to empty the drainage bags such as a Foley, connect to MRI ventilator, set up spare pumps with infusions, arrange transport staff, add an arterial line extension, connect ventilator to oxygen cylinder, travel to the MRI area. You might have to wait in the corridor, transfer pumps with infusion lines, stop and disconnect short lines infusions, connect to MRI room oxygen supply. You run the exam. That exam can take hours. Disconnect arterial line monitoring, disconnect from room oxygen, connect to the oxygen cylinder, reattach EKG machines and ICU monitoring, remove the MRI monitoring, reattach short line infusion pumps, return to the ICU, and wait for the scan to be interpreted. That takes a lot. And this is like a quick summary of it too. There's so many things not even mentioned on here. So I hope that I've stressed enough why I think it's such a need to have this technology, this portable MRI in different parts of healthcare. Finally, I do want to talk about my portfolio. This is my biggest position thus far. It did actually make itself the bigger position because I did start around 25% on my portfolio, and now it is 41% because it has been going up drastically. As of right now, it is up 75% with 122,000 shares. And I do have shares in my other account, my SoFi account. So I'll pull that up real quick. My SoFi account is currently up 206% right now. I did deposit 31,000 in this account, and I bought Senseonic Holdings, or SENS is the stock symbol, and I sold around 70,000, 72,000, and I actually took that money and bought a bunch of Hyperfine stocks with it, and right now it's currently up 39,000. So my entire portfolio has been growing drastically. So looking at the history, I sold Senseonics at $1.05, and that was a total of 76,000. And I tried to buy more shares, so as you can tell, I had some canceled orders because I tried to get in at 0.99, but nobody was giving me a market. So I tried $1, but nobody was giving me a market. And the thing is, I learned that on SoFi investments, once a stock is above $1 or is at $1, you can actually do a market order. So I kind of may have gone a little crazy. So I did a market order of 70,000 shares, and I essentially filled that entire gap of people trying to sell at that time. So I ended up averaging $1.08 at that time. So which pretty much accounted for 76,000, which is pretty much everything I sold with Senseonics. And that's how I ended up with 70,000. And I bought 23 more shares just to kind of finish out that rest of the dollars that were just kind of laying around. So looking at the stock information, Hyperfine is currently at $1.62, and it is up after hour at 165, so that's good. It does have a market cap of 97 million, which makes it a very, very, very small company. And I can't stress that enough. So if you buy into this stock, just know that it can drop 50% as soon as you buy it. So you have to believe in the story. Do you believe that a portable MRI scanner will thrive in the future? Do you see this company becoming a billion-dollar company? And I personally do, and that is why I am investing heavily, because this company is so small, but it has the potential. That's all it is right now, potential to be big, but it's not. And I was doing some math earlier. If it reaches a price of $10, it would be worth 731 million only. So it wouldn't even be worth 1 billion yet. But I do see it happening. Even the competition, such as GE Healthcare, Ninox, Medtronic, all their medical equipment combined together puts them way over that 1 billion mark. And I am hoping for this stock to reach 1 billion, at least for now. And so if it reaches 1 billion, it'll be way past that $10 mark for the price per share, which that's what I'm hoping for. This is the one that I'm actually going to hold for a little bit because I do see it going higher. It doesn't pay a dividend. Its volume, it's usually around 200 and 300,000. It's actually way higher right now. It says it right there too. Average volume 112. So I was kind of off. It does have a negative PE ratio because it is not profitable yet. Looking at some of the analysts, they do think it's a sell right now since the price has surged higher. Hyperfine may be sending strong sell signals at present with a price to sell ratio of 7.3 times. When you consider almost half of the companies in the medical equipment industry in the United States have a price to sales ratio under 3.5, and even price to sales lower than 1.3 aren't out of the ordinary. However, the price to sell might be quite high for a reason, and it does require further investigation to determine if it's justified. As of right now, I don't think so. It is very risky still, and they still have to show that they are selling their product like they are promising on these articles. I mean, they're expanding, but are they actually selling? So that's definitely something to look out for on the next earnings report, and that's kind of what I'm waiting for as well. It is still very risky, and sometimes the rumors take over and the price gets very hyperinflated, and then when they actually announce their earnings, that's when the news actually hits, and sometimes if people aren't really surprised, or if the earnings didn't beat by 100% or 100%, they usually sell, and then the rumors end up being more profitable than the actual news itself. So it could potentially drop during earnings season, especially if they only sell at 36% like they did last quarter. So definitely keeping an eye on it. And I do like this little chart that Simply Wall Street provides because it gives you a picture of what the stock looks like. This is like Naruto, like back in anime times when they have the little levels of each character, and that's what this is. They don't pay a dividend. Their value is still not there yet. Future, I do see a future for it, so I do think it should be a little higher, like over here. And the past, definitely no history just yet, and that's why there's a lot of people not watching this stock yet. But I do think it is a healthy one, especially because it's targeting such a critical component in medical imaging. I think in general, doctors do like magnetic resonance imaging because it does provide a higher quality of image. It does help differentiate tissue much better than a CT scanner can and X-ray. Even though people who perform the scans, such as the technicians, they do prefer MRIs because it's a magnet that they use compared to a CT scan with all the radiation. And after doing 100 X-rays or CT scans a day, that really does expose them to the risk of cancer from radiation. I've personally been exposed to a lot of them, especially during a critical patient who can't stay still. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? It's just one X-ray. I'll hold them down. I get my X-ray. I get scanned along with the patient, which, you're not supposed to, but there are times when I've done it, and that's just a risk that I accept. I do hope that you learned something from this video. Definitely do your own research. Talk to a financial advisor because this channel is only for entertainment. It's a channel to aggregate information about stocks. At the end of the day, you are responsible for what you invest in. I do definitely recommend investing in general, especially in other blue chip stocks. I do recommend that you are diversified because even on my Robinhood alone, I am very diversified. So I have XRP at 32,000 coins, Ethereum, XLM, Doge, and I have like 85 different stocks in my portfolio. Hyperfine, Palantir, Robinhood, Rocket Lab, IonQ, New Holdings, Rigetti, SoFi, Serve Robotics, Oklo, Oddity, Senseonics, Honest Company, Hims and Hers, Clover Health, AMD, Cognex, Lunar Technologies or Intuitive Machines, Bros, the Coffee Company, ARM, Aero Environment, Starbucks, Johnson & Johnson, XYZ, that's Block now, Microsoft, Storage Express, Tilray, CRISPR, Disney, Neo, Unity, Tesla, Verizon, Spotify, Lumen, Teradyne, CVS, Oscar Health, Joby, BOC, that's Boston Omaha, Transmedics, Amazon, Tree, Nenox, Shop, American Express, Qubits, Walmart, Google. It continues going on for a while. So definitely be diversified. This entire portfolio is invested in high risk stocks. So it is a diversified risky portfolio. That's what I would call it. But my SoFi account is the super risky holding. So I started with Sensionic, made some money on there, invested it back into Hyperfine, and definitely consider the taxes as well, because you end up paying a lot of taxes in the end. Definitely keep that in mind. And I hope you learned something from this channel. Definitely be diversified. $1,000, $1 a day, whatever your goal is, definitely continue doing that, because at the end of the day, the longer you do it, the wealthier you will become. So it's about time in the market, not timing the market. I do hope that you learned something. This is not financial advice. Consult your financial advisor. I do hope to see you in the future. Make sure you like, comment, and share this video, and see ya.